One of the things I find really fascinating in the world of water is really how we're shifting our thinking. In that there was, in my mind, perceived abundance. Everyone assumed that since water was free, there was abundant sources of water. And really what we're seeing now is that shift in how we're thinking about abundance, and that water is increasingly scarce, surface water, groundwater, really because the status quo has resulted in inefficient use of water, increasing population and demand for water. And now when we talk about abundance, it's really something that is much more genuine, and it's much more thoughtful on how do you ensure that people have universal access to safe drinking water, we have enough water for economic development, business growth, and ecosystem health. So it's gone from this perception, because water is free, to a reality that, well, it's scarce and we need to change the status quo. And then we also need to redefine what abundance means to get us to a better place with respect to valuing water. There's this great quote from Mark Udall, and Mark is a professor at Colorado State University, and he's been very active in the conversation around the impacts of climate change on water resources in the American West. And it sort of echoes a little bit the infamous Mark Twain quote, but Mark Udall has said, it's tough to know the value of water until it's gone. And that is so true. And, for better or for worse, that's exactly what we're seeing right now in places like the American West and Europe, Africa, at large, Latin America and Southeast Asia. So really everywhere, we're really understanding how painful it is when you don't have water. And no amount of money can buy water if it's not available. And when we think about the value of water, it's multidimensional. So there is the economic development aspect of water. So imagine if you are a state, a country, a region, and you are predominantly agriculture and manufacturing, where you need water to produce your products, or you need water for urban growth and so on, and you don't have it. Well, that has a very real economic impact. And I sit in Denver, so I'll use the Colorado River Basin as a really good example. Again, for better or for worse, roughly the Colorado River Basin is 12% of the U.S. GDP, and what we're seeing now is really a drastic and almost rapid reduction in surface water availability, and that's impacting the 7 states that are part of the Colorado River Basin in terms of agricultural production, urban growth, the construction industry, and so on. And then there's the business value of water. So tied into that is, well, if I don't have a gallon of water, I can't make a semiconductor chip. I can't grow whatever crop I need to grow. And we're seeing a real change in thinking on the private sector side in terms of how does a company do what they do, manufacture whatever they manufacture with less water, or develop systems that move more towards circularity, where they're using water over and over again, where they're potentially getting water from other sources. And then this is so easy to forget, but water has ecosystem value, natural capital associated with it. So the presence of water in surface water bodies that support ecosystems is really having a very significant impact right now in places, again, like the American West, where we're seeing a rapid decline in surface water availability and the decline of species. There's also the recreational piece. So again, for people that fish, they boat, whatever it may be, a loss of surface water has a very significant impact on recreational use, and also ties back into economic development. And then one dimension that is, I would say, rarely brought up is the spiritual dimension of water. And I bring it up all the time because right now there's this mad rush to net zero for water, basically following carbon. The big difference is that, carbon is fungible. A ton of CO2 is the same no matter where you are. But a gallon or liter of water is location specific. It's unique to that place. And it's also unique to the people that value that water in a spiritual way. And there are numerous examples of that. So, when we think about the value of water, it's really not just the economic or the business piece. It's the natural capital dimension to it that ties into ecosystem health, preserving biodiversity, and then also the human, the very visceral connection to water in terms of spiritual connection.
Qatium.